Okay. Good morning, Sage customer, valued Sage customer. We have a new process that we are rolling out. It is the due diligence process. Previously, as a Sage customer, you would receive an email attachment with an SEO form where the business partner would be requesting you on behalf of Sage to fill in the form and return to the business partner with required information. So from now on, we are doing away with emails, email with attached Word document for you to populate. Now we are rolling out an automated process where we seek to improve the customer experience. I hope that you love it. I'm going to start now with the demonstration. And I think I have my video on. I am just going to switch it on and introduce myself with the panel. My name is Gatleho. Sorry that the video was off. I had no idea. My name is Gatleho. Joined, I have Nadia and Nance, our colleagues from Sage. All right, so the process will unfold as follows. You will receive an email. The email would be triggered by a Sage business partner. It will come directly to you as our valued customer. Just to create that open and transparent information, the information that you will be providing to Sage is very important and privileged, and our main mandate is to protect your personal information. This information will not be shared with business partners. It will come directly to Sage for our due diligence screening. So this a Sage business partner will not have a view of the completed forms that you send. It will come directly to Sage, and when we action your form, the action will come from a Sage colleague and not a Sage business partner, because we value the protection of your personal information. Right. So as a Sage customer, you will receive an email, and the email will look like this. The email will have a Sage Africa Middle East Due Diligence Business Partner Procedural Handbook. I will open the handbook and go through the handbook with you, because it's very important information that you need to know. Okay, so this is the attachment. It has an overview. I will go through the overview with you. As a global company, we are required to comply with various sanctions regimes, as well as applicable anti-bribery and anti-corruption laws and regulations. In line with our commitment and our internal governance procedure, we need to obtain certain information about our customers' organization. We use this information to conduct due diligence inquiries on your organization, including your shareholders. Due diligence is performed prior to entering into arrangements with third parties and with reasonable frequency during the period of the arrangements. Where there are long-term arrangements with customers, due diligence will be repeated at least an annual basis. This document aims to provide an overview of the process to manage the expected turnaround time, as well as provide clarity on what we expect from our customer. That's fine. Very important. I will skip this information. You will read it on your own. I want to just touch on the type of information or documentation that we will be requesting from you as a Sage valued customer. We will be requesting ID documents of shareholders, annual financial statements of the companies, company registration certificates, shareholder certificate, registry of shares, full company ownership structure that outline individual share allotment. Very important. We will protect this information. It will come directly to Sage. Very important. It will not be viewed by any other individuals outside of the Sage structure. Oh, good. I will close this one. All right, and then we will go through the actual email content as well. Dear valued Sage customer, thank you for your partnership with Sage. According to our records, your product is due for renewal. Sage is committed to building a sustainable and successful business, adopting the highest ethical standards and demonstrating the utmost integrity. Part of this renewal process will require us to conduct the due diligence checks. We require you to complete the form. Complete and return the form, Sage due diligence form. This form contains the relevant information required and gives us consent to carry out such checks. To ensure you understand the full scope of this due diligence process, kindly read the attached due diligence guide. Please feel free to contact us should you have any questions. Right, this is the guide, this is the form. So as a Sage valued customer, you will click on the form. All good. So this form, there we have it. This is the form now that we are implementing and rolling out with our business partners and customers. All right. So we are requesting you to populate this and return back to us. So I will start the population of the actual form itself. Previously, this is the form that had to be shared with us. You know this form very well. It is called the SEO form. Now we are doing it online. I will populate the form with you to show you the process. All right, so the first question that is asked is registration number of the entity. I will fill that in, the registration number of the entity, registration date of the entity, the registration date of the entity. There's a date picker there. The entity we will say was registered in the year 2000 in November on the 7th. Okay, and then what is the type of the entity? There's a drop down there. This particular entity is a private limited company. There's a choice for you to pick from all this list. There's a drop down, but for this particular entity, it is a private limited company. Place of incorporation of this entity was incorporated in Harare, Zimbabwe. Okay, all right. So very, very important for us is shareholder information. You will then click here on add shareholder. When you click on add shareholder, a pop-up will come up and then you would have to pick the type of entity. Okay, so let's start the process. So the process for us starts as below. When you pick private limited company, we will ask you what the entity name is. I will fill in what the entity name is. Then we ask you entity registration number. I will fill in the entity registration number. And then we ask you the entity registration date. We will fill in the entity registration date. Okay, and then we want to understand how many shares are owned by this particular entity. You put in the shares. And then we also want to know what the address is for this entity. We will put in the address for the entity. Okay, and then we ask you to upload the entity registration certificate. You will attach the entity registration certificate and click Save. Then you'll get a pop-up that says shareholder information was saved. This is when now you need to confirm if all the information that you've provided us is correct. If you need to update anything, you will click Edit, then you will update the form again, or you click Delete to start over the process. Again, there is more information to be added. You will click Add, and then you have to pick the type of entity again. You need to provide. You click for this particular entity, I will pick private limited company. I will provide the requested information. requested information. Now they want to know what the registration number is. I will provide the registration number. They want to know when this entity was registered, and then very important, they want to know the percentage of ownership for this entity. It's 0.1%, and then the address for this entity we will provide it. And then very important, we are asking you to upload the share certificate. I'll go and fetch one, and there it is, and save the information. You will get a pop-up, shareholder information was saved. Okay, and then ask you to add some more. Again, we do the same to private limited company, provide the name of that entity, provide the registration number for the entity, provide the registration number for the entity. You pick the date at which the entity was registered. You will look on the certificate and provide that information. We want to know how many shares is owned by this particular entity, and this one owns 99.9%, and the address is as follows. And the address is as follows. And then I will upload the registration certificate and I will save. It will enter into the list as seen below. I will continue to add more information. Again, this particular one again is a private limited company. I will share the name of the entity, the registration information, the date of registration of this entity, the percentage, again, and the address, and I will upload the certificate and save. Get a pop-up and we move faster. Okay, and then after that, very critical is to share the next line. And the next line, it is a trust. What is the name of the entity? The trust name, just use Omni Trust, and then the registration number for this particular trust is the following one, and then registration date would be this one, and the percentage ownership would be 40, and the address would be the following, and then we will upload the certificate. Oh, very nice for this demonstration. I forgot to upload. I can just quickly edit and upload the now it's there. I do another one for this particular entity to show that it's linked to a trust, and then show all the percentage allotment. Put in there, date. You will know from your certificate what the shareholder split is, and the address for this one would be, this would be the address, and upload the entity registration certificate, and you save, the information was saved. And then last but not least, do another trust to make the 100% share allotment for Skumba Resources. Okay, this is it. And then the registration date, this one was perhaps in 2009. Shareholder 30%, the address is as follows. Share certificate, attached, save. Cool. We are asking you to give us your head office information, manage company head office, and branch information. For your head office, you will pick this one, and I will provide the address for our head office. This is our head office address, and you save. And perhaps if you have branches, we will add, you would need to add the branches for us. You would add a branch. If you've already picked head office, you will not be able to pick the branch again, the head office tick box, but now it would be your branches. You save. There's a bug in the system. I need to be open and transparent. The bug is we request you to upload the shareholder org structure. You cannot edit as we are populating it because it falls away. Please add this attachment for us once you've completed adding everything on this list. And then as a customer, you will then share with us your shareholder org structure. And you then come here because you would have verified that all the information appearing here is correct and it's current and you are happy with it. You then click submit. When you click submit, this pop-up will come up saying required information is complete. Do you want to send the request to Sage for evaluation? Very important. It goes directly to Sage, does not go through other third parties. We as Sage will be the ones reviewing your information as a customer to ensure that it is protected. And when you click yes, the information comes directly to us as Sage. There you go, form has been submitted to Sage. Now, there's two things that are going to happen. The form, as a customer, the form will be locked. You will not be able to do any updates on the form because the form is locked. We will then have an opportunity as Sage to review your forms. Now, from a Sage Business Partner point of view, the Sage Business Partner will know where your request is in the process. So I'm just going to refresh the screen and show you that the color coding does take effect. Now, this particular form for the business partner will see that this particular customer, the form was sent on a particular date, the form was clicked, the form was clicked on a particular date and time. It has created a request for us at Sage, and the form has a status. The DD form was completed by the customer. This is the PO number, this is the PO amount. This is where the demonstration ends. Now, the business partner was able to send the objectives that we were able to achieve with the demonstration was the business partner was able to send a form to the customer was able to receive a form in a form of an email with the attachment with the guidelines. There's a link to the actual form. I've demonstrated how to populate the form with critical information, and last but not least, send through to the form to Sage for Sage review. This is where I will stop the demonstration for now. What I will be demonstrating next will come up in the next video. Thank you for joining, and I hope it was clear for you.